Donald Trump just made a shocking move, an emergency filing to block the Epstein Transparency Act. But why now? What's the real reason behind this? The Epstein Transparency Act, meant to uncover one of the darkest secrets in American history, is facing an unexpected roadblock. Trump's own DOJ is claiming that no court has the power to enforce it. They want it buried. Why would anyone fight against transparency? And why would Trump's team go to such lengths to stop it? Stick around, because this story is about to get even more explosive. Here's the issue at hand. The Trump administration, through its DOJ, has made a stunning claim. The Epstein Transparency Act is essentially toothless. Despite Congress passing it with near-unanimous support, Trump's DOJ argues that no judge can enforce it. They're even saying that the courts lack the authority to oversee any of it. This isn't just a technical argument. This is a full-scale push to block transparency. But why is it so critical? What are they hiding, and what are the real stakes? Could this be the first domino in a larger, more dangerous pattern? Stick with me, because things are about to take a sharp turn. Here's the kicker. The DOJ is not just arguing against enforcement. They're flat out saying that no one, not even a judge, has the power to step in. They claim that the Epstein Transparency Act doesn't even provide a cause of action, meaning there's no legal basis to force compliance. They argue in black and white that Congress passed this law without any intention of actually enforcing it. Let that sink in. The DOJ is effectively calling the law useless. But notice what's missing here. Why would they be so desperate to avoid oversight unless they've got something major to hide? This is more than just a legal technicality. It's a fight for control over what the public ever gets to know. But this isn't just about one case. What we're witnessing is the normalization of a pattern, one that's been unfolding for years. This fight isn't new. You only need to look back at the Ghislaine Maxwell case to see how the system has allowed powerful figures to operate above the law, and now Trump's DOJ is pushing to continue that legacy. What's more disturbing is the brazen disregard for the victims. These aren't just documents or legal arguments. These are the stories of real people whose lives were shattered. The government's failure to release these files, despite promises, signals a disturbing trend. Transparency is being blocked and accountability is slipping further away. This isn't just an isolated incident. It's part of a much larger problem. Now it gets even worse. The DOJ's position on this is chilling. They're not only blocking transparency, they're accusing Congress members who've pushed for oversight of having no legal standing. That's right. Massey and Cana, the ones who have been fighting for the release of these files, are being told they have no right to even ask for accountability. And here's the real kicker. The DOJ is also blaming the courts for delays, claiming it's the judge's fault this has dragged on. They're trying to turn the blame back on the very people who've been holding them to their promises. This is not just a legal maneuver. It's a direct attack on the checks and balances meant to keep the system accountable. But now, what happens when the people in charge of enforcing the law are the ones undermining it? Things are unraveling fast. In the span of just a few days, multiple bombshells have dropped. First, the DOJ claims the courts have no authority to enforce transparency. Then they accuse Massey and Cana of having no standing to request action. And now they're defaming the very judges overseeing the case. The pressure is mounting, and it's clear the DOJ is scrambling. But it doesn't stop there. These actions aren't just a few isolated legal arguments. They're a coordinated effort to bury the truth. The victims, the public, and even the courts are all being caught in the crossfire. So what happens if this continues? How far will they go to keep the truth locked away? Now let's bring this back to what really matters. The people. The victims of Epstein's crimes, those whose lives were shattered by unimaginable horrors, are still waiting for justice. And every day this information is blocked, it's another day they suffer. Imagine being one of those survivors, knowing that the very system meant to protect you is actively working to keep the truth hidden. This isn't just a legal issue, it's a human one. This fight for transparency isn't about politics, it's about the people whose lives were destroyed, who have been re-traumatized by the very system that should have been protecting them. If this feels familiar to you, or if you think something must change, drop a comment below. This is a fight for accountability, for real change. Here's the hard truth. This isn't just about one corrupt case or one flawed system. This is about the mechanisms that allow corruption to thrive, the leverage, the incentives, the fear of what will happen if the truth comes out. All of it plays into a system that benefits those at the top. It's not just about what's happening now, it's about a deep systemic issue that allows powerful people to shield themselves from accountability. This isn't an isolated incident, it's a symptom of a larger problem, one that has allowed secrecy and abuse to fester unchecked. The question isn't just why the DOJ is fighting against transparency, it's why the system itself is set up to protect the powerful, even when they're breaking the law. So, what happens next? There are two possible paths forward. On one hand, this could escalate further. The pressure on the DOJ could increase, forcing them to either comply or face even more legal challenges. It could reach a breaking point where the truth is finally exposed. On the other hand, there's a darker path. If the DOJ continues to block transparency, and if no one steps up to hold them accountable, this could become the new normal. A dangerous precedent would be set where powerful figures can continue to hide their actions, knowing they can outlast the public's attention. The clock is ticking, and the next move is already unfolding. What happens in the coming months will shape the future of this case and who controls the truth. Here's the real takeaway. The battle for transparency isn't just about releasing documents, it's about who gets to control the narrative and who gets to stay protected. The DOJ's actions are a clear message. Power doesn't just shield the guilty, it erases the truth. But here's the kicker. The story isn't over. This is just one chapter, and the next one could change everything. Stay tuned. For deeper analysis, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because this is far from finished.